Hey now. Hey everybody. Actually, nobody's here, but it's okay. Because we're doing a show very early today. My God. It's not even 10 o'clock. I hit the live button. Little scheduling issues today, but it's fine. We're here. Rich is going to call in now. My audio's all messed up because my kids got into the studio and played with all the settings. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, hey. All right, let's see what happens, right? Let's see. Yo, Jason. Crown Wolf. Morning, morning. All right. Let's see if, I know we're doing the show an hour early, so nobody knows, which sucks, but we had a scheduling issue, so we're here early. All right, let me see if I could get people to realize that I'm live. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is my mic good?
Tap your mic for me, baby. Nope, not on that one. You're on the other one. We're live, by the way.
Oh boy.
Dude, your setup looks great.
Thank you. We're gonna have to do this this like flippy floppy mic thing again.
Yeah, let's try that again. I don't know why it does that now all of a sudden for you.
Yeah, you know what? I restarted, I set everything up before I came on, and it
just doesn't pick
doesn't do it. Yeah. Alright, let me reconnect.
Okay.
Okay. Better?
Oh, yeah, way better. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me just pot you up.
We're
Keep
live,
talking
by
for
the way.
me. I gotta pot you up.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, your Greek wife.
Mm-hmm. All right, close the door behind you. Goodbye. Am I better?
Oh, yeah, way better. I potted you
Okay.
up. It was on my end. I'm a little dark on my side. I don't know why.
It's because you've been tanning too much, baby.
Dude, look how dark I am, baby.
You're approaching Hogan Armageddon level right now.
Look at these arms. Look at these arms now.
I think it's 14-inch pythons.
Look at these 14-inch pythons. Dude, that's all I do. I just lay out.
That's nice.
When the first thing that someone says to you is, "Holy crap, you're tan. Where did you go?" And my answer is my backyard. I know I've achieved the level of tan that I want.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, 1, 2, 3. So the kids messed up my audio. How do I sound to you?
Fine.
Fine. Okay. Nobody knows we're live, by the way.
What do you mean?
I
mean, you tweeted it.
I did, but nobody's here. I think it's because we're early and they're not used to it. So let me just retweet that we're live. Oops.
Thanks for doing the show early. I have
Absolutely,
to get out of here. That's why.
What do you have to do?
Well, I got a load of stuff to shoot, and I just really want to get a head start on it. So as soon as I'm done here, I'm literally swiveling my chair around to start shooting like all this stuff.
Last night was a good night for wrestling, man.
Yeah, that shit was awesome. I don't know why people are complaining. I don't know why your
They
buddy
are?
over there was complaining so much.
Who's complaining?
The thing you sent me.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's ridiculous. But
Yeah, I know. What are you gonna do about it?
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
What are you
about
gonna do about it?
All right,
What are you gonna do about it?
let's wait till people get in here a little bit. Yo, Work Shoot Pot Wrestling Podcast. Good morning, Anthony. Good morning. All right. Let me just give this a couple more minutes here. I just want to get organized. I'm actually watching the Jericho match again now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw people talking about it, and I got to tell you, I thought NXT was a better show, but we'll talk about that on the.
What? Yeah, you're crazy.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it. No. I want to do this. It's interesting. I enjoyed NXT better. Let me see.
I kind of feel like I know why.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I want to say I want to say that I feel like you got zooted, and the quietness of NXT comforted you more.
That's very possible.
Mhm.
Very, very possible.
Because I was I had a very long day yesterday, and I was like super hyped up when I was watching AEW, and I was like, "This is amazing! It's all this noise and all this shit happening." And then I flipped over to NXT, and it's all I hear, and then like a bump.
I thought for
like-
the main event though, the main event was loud. Did you notice
Main
that?
event was good.
The main event
man.
was loud. By the way, Jericho's the best.
He really
Jericho's
is
great. He really is. He's transcended into a whole different tier of special, villain.
Special sauce.
Yeah. All right.
Can we
get my
talk
notes
about?
here.
Can we also talk about how at one point Jericho was considered small?
Oh yeah, he was a tiny guy. He was a small guy.
Mhm. He was considered a small person, and compared to the rest of that AEW roster, and even the current WWE roster, he's a big man.
Big man. Big man.
Can you do a Pacino impression before we start the show?
Let me see. Big man. Big man. Let me tell you something.
What the fuck was
Great
that?
ass. There you go. Got a great ass.
Got a great ass.
I got to tell you, Pacino just plays Scarface and everything,
Mhm.
right? Is that what he does? Is that
I think
what
it's
his
just
role
him.
is? Yo, Derek, what up? Sitting here watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Gotta follow up with Angel. Ooh, shit, what did I just do? What did I just do? Did I break this? No, I did not. Oh, no. Undo.
What's happening?
I don't know.
What?
Shit, sorry.
The Warriors showing up. What's going on?
I broke it, dude. Sorry. Whoa.
Out of here.
This is the behind the scenes that you guys don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Major pressing a button and fucking everything up. I tried to center myself and I hit reset instead. It confused me because it didn't say your name for some reason. It said guest on Matman, and I thought it was the wrong one. All right, that's good.
I hope you recorded that snafu.
Yeah, it's all live.
Ah, so good. Just hanging out. You putting the phone number up? Yeah.
Let me see. All right. We're good. We're good here.
You sure?
Sorry,
You
guys.
sure we're good?
Yeah. I'm positive. Oh, we got $5 already. I have a working meeting right now, but I wanted to give my sweet baby some XOXO. Catch you next time. Mwah.
Yeah. Give me some X.
Bachelor 3000 giving us some XOXOs. Gossip Girl.
Give me some DMX.
Gossip Girl here.
Do your DMX impression.
It's gonna give it to you, but not I give it to you, but not I give it to you. You like that one?
This is the same as your Pacino. Can you
And
only
Mike
do one
McMahon.
voice? And you're McMahon.
Ruff, ruff. No? Doesn't he bark a lot?
Oh.
Never done it. Never done it. There you go.
There you go. It's
All right. You guys ready? Let's do this, babies. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
5 days for the birthday boy. All right.
Yeah.
We'll begin in 3, 2, and 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Matt Men, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Andrew Zarian, and I'm joined by the monster lover, Rich Stambolian.
Oh, yeah, baby. What's going on, everybody?
I felt that intro. I felt it.
I felt good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. I'm tan as F right now. I'm trying to go for that Hogan tan. I think I've plateaued. I don't think I could absorb any more melanin in my skin at this point.
I think you can really, really take it to the next level.
Dude, I'm just putting olive oil on me at this point. I'm not even kidding you. I'm just putting olive oil all over me.
Sizzling.
My wife comes out and says that I'm disgusting because I'm wearing my wrestling trunks, like those black trunks that I have. My belly's over the trunks at this point. I'm just oiled up and I'm just nude essentially the entire day. And she had people over. She had one of, her employee that does all like the glass stuff now with her.
Fred?
I don't know if you've met her. No. Well, there's Fred, but there's this new girl named Jackie that comes in and does a lot of the glass stuff with her, right? To ship all the products. Yeah. And she rang the doorbell, didn't answer, right? She came into the backyard and I'm greased up like a Thanksgiving turkey. And I'm just baking. She goes, "Oh no, I'm so sorry." And she thought I was nude. Just
oh wow.
Nude. I was like, "No, I'm wearing trunks." And I'm just screaming trunks at her and she just walked away.
Did you turn around thinking it was your kids and say, "Daddy's busy"?
Daddy's busy.
Daddy's busy. I got the wrong house.
This is a show all about professional wrestling and tanning, as you could tell. Rich and I have been doing the show for God knows how long, since 2012. So we are professional podcasters. I don't know if that's a thing, but Rich and I are professional podcasters. He's doing this live from his home in Flushing, Queens. I'm in Bayside. A lot of wrestling to talk about today, obviously. Last night was night 2 of Great American Bash and Fyter Festival. I thought both shows were great. I have a theory on why one was better than the other one. Obviously, I think Rich feels the opposite, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about that. Also, chat room. We're going to be taking your mailbag questions at the end of the show and possibly opening up the phone lines just for, a couple phone calls. I know the phone call thing, I think when we do secondary shows, I think it works great. But we had a couple of people that requested, "Hey, would you open up the phone lines? I would like to call in." So we'll open up the phone line at the end of the show. Obviously, the number is 888-828-1437. That's 888-828-1GFQ. You can call in at the end of the show with your questions to go accompanied by the mailbag questions in the chat room that we're doing live on YouTube. We generally record the show Thursdays at 11, but today's special time, Thursdays at 10. We're doing the show 10 a.m. So you know what? The good news is people get the show earlier today, right? That's the good news. If you're downloaded this, which is most of our viewers and listeners, you listen to this post live, you're getting the show a little early, so that's awesome. Rich, where do you have the card? So I want to kind of run down the card again really quickly. I don't have a lot of news to follow up on. Actually, at the end of the show, I do, and a lot of it is like nothing. So I'm sure I'm gonna be asked a lot about Velveteen and everything else going on, and I'll give you guys an answer of what's going on and what I've been told. But this is going to be very heavy on the current product. I thought both NXT and WWE did a great show. Rich, do you have the card?
I'm punching it up right now. For Fyter Fest or for Great American Bash for just last night's, right?
Let's do Great American Bash night 2 first, right?
Okay, this is not happening right now.
It's not working for
very
you?
Bizarre. It's not working for me.
Okay, so
my internet hates me today.
So I put in the Great American Bash, okay, and I put in the Great American Bash 2020, and I'm positive that the first match on this card was not Ron Bass versus Buddy Landell.
You were like, did I miss something?
I think I'm in the wrong year right now. Okay, so I got it. Night 2. Here we go.
Okay.
I thought this was a better show, and people are gonna think I'm nuts.
Like
for
me.
a couple, you probably will tell me I'm nuts, but I don't know why. You have a theory. I went out for a couple drinks before the show, and I was in bed watching this, and your theory was that NXT was a little quieter, and I probably enjoyed it a little better. I didn't even think of it that way, but that's possible.
That's because I know you. I know how you are.
You know how I get. I did think AEW was a great show too. So let's go through the NXT card, and then we'll go into AEW. And I'm curious what the chat room thinks. Candice LeRae defeated Mia Yim. 15 minutes. They gave this a lot of time. I thought this was a very good match.
Two very good workers, by the way.
Yeah. You know what was funny? When I initially turned it on, I didn't recognize Candice. And I was like,
because of the hair?
The hair. Like, I don't know. My mind forgot that she has that purpley blue hair now. And I was like, who is this?
Platinum.
It's like platinum, purple. And then I'm like, oh, crap, it's Candice. I totally forgot that this match was happening. My God, what a great match, right?
Oh, absolutely. It was a lot of fun. I think Mia Yim also got banged up. There's a huge upside to Mia Yim, and she's been working her ass off on NXT for the last couple of years.
Yeah, Mia Yim is doing great stuff. What was her run in TNA like? I forgot what it was.
Maybe she was a Knockouts champion.
She was. I don't know. She was there for a while though, right?
I don't want to say she was there for too long. I don't think it was like a significant amount of time enough to be like, oh, remember when she did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. She's been. I mean, independent wrestling and women's wrestling. She's been great. This was a very good match. The ending was great with that swinging neck breaker off the top for the win. I thought it was a great job by Candice LeRae and Mia Yim. They did a great job. The next match was interesting. Bronson Reed and Tony Nese. I'm a big fan of Bronson Reed.
Big boy.
Love it. Love the gimmick. Love the guy. He's a big guy. Tony Nese did not look great, but it was to kind of highlight Bronson Reed. Jonah Rock, by the way, for people who don't know. It's Bronson Reed. What else?
That was fun. We got, hang on. We had I think we had a backstage, right?
Yeah.
And then we had Swerve Scott versus Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, Swerve versus Johnny Gargano. Okay match. Not a bad match at all.
Good match, yeah.
Gargano won. Swerve is a project for them. He's going to do well for them. He's very talented. Very, very talented guy. He's part of their plans. So Johnny Gargano won this. I thought it was a good match. 14 minutes. See, here's the thing that didn't feel like a pay-per-view, right?
Right.
Like, you have some of these matches in here where they were filler, obviously, because they tried to do the 2-night thing. What bothers me, AEW did the same exact thing. This should have been a 1-night pay-per-view, not a 2-night pay-per-view.
Well, I think they were doing counter-programming.
Of course. I think, and that's where the product suffered a little bit. Because you had to do some filler with backstage stuff and some other matches. You had Phantasma. I thought this match was pretty good. You could see that they're really going after with Escobar and who's his team right now? Santos Escobar, right?
Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde.
Yeah, Joaquin Wilde, Raul Mendoza, and Santos Escobar. Yeah,
Santos Escobar is such a great name.
It is a great name. And he had a great name to begin with, right? It was El Hijo del Fantasma. Good job in this match. You could tell that they're so high on these three guys.
Absolutely,
you could tell, obviously.
They're trying to. It seems like they really want to try out the Latin trios, kinda.
Maybe it's time for a
mentality,
trios
right?
title. Maybe it's time for a trios
You
title
know?
in WWE.
Do you want to see that?
You know, I think about that all the time. I think because there's so many trios now,
Mhm.
like Orton has a faction now. You saw with Breezango and Jake Maverick. You know, it exists in their realm. I don't know if it's enough to counter a title, but I don't know how I would feel. Like, I don't know if I would dislike it or not. What do you think? Do you think we need a trios title, or it's too
I
many?
disagree with. I think it's too many because doesn't that also kind of just surpass the Freebird rule? And I've always been a big fan of the Freebird rule. You know, if you have like 3 dudes, you can swap the belts between 2 of them at any time. You know.
Yeah, I like the Freebird rule. Listen, trios work. I think in a lot of elements, I think it's a positive. It keeps it fresh. It's a different spin on a tag team if you have more than one person. But you know, we're seeing a lot of them, so it's interesting. We're having little mini factions, not large factions. I thought this was pretty good. Obviously, the right people won here, where Breezango and Drake Maverick really didn't need them to win. After this, so this is fascinating. You had Mercedes Martinez debut again, I guess, right? This was her debut against Santana Garrett. I don't know why Santana Garrett is not a big star in the WWE.
Who knows? That's a good question. But maybe they're sitting on her for a little bit to try to get the greener wrestlers over, because Santana Garrett's very experienced.
Very experienced. She was, you know, in a different era. A couple years ago, she held like every women's title that you could imagine on the independents. Right? She held the NWA women's title. She held a lot of the women's leagues, the women's organizations. So she's been around for a long time. She's very experienced, very well-rounded wrestler. For whatever reason, they've never really pulled the trigger on her. And I don't know why. They flirt with the idea of Santana Garrett. By the way, Santana Garrett's 32 years old, and she's been around for a while. Yeah. So I'm curious to see why they've held. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't want to sign. Maybe that's part of it, right?
Yeah. Who knows?
You know, it can't be easy now in the Indies, considering there's no dates. You know, that guaranteed money is something that you kind of would want. But I'm curious to see what they do with her. I hope she stays there and they profile her, because she's a great hand to have, tremendous hand to have on that roster. You could see that Martinez is going to be a big star here. They're really pushing her as this giant, prepping her for that women's division. Listen, I think the more characters, right, that you would have in that division that are different from each other and they don't fit the mold, better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Then the main event. Sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Then the main event, which I thought was tremendous.
Yeah, it was a fantastic main event. I really thought they were gonna do a swerve and have Keith Lee like tape it again, where Keith Lee loses, and then air that one, as opposed to leaning into the slip up from last week.
Yeah, so I thought, you know, last week I was told immediately about that win. And I was like, that's interesting, because it's so early, and WWE generally doesn't like to film championship wins with the possibility of a spoiler. But it did get out. There were photos of it, and I think you said it, like you said right now, right? You said last week, like, well, maybe they may record it again. It's quite, you know, and I thought that to myself. I'm like, it'd be interesting if they filmed a different ending. But, you know, you want to talk about one of the few proper builds of a talent? Think about this, right?
Yeah.
He had that blow-up moment with Roman Reigns in the Rumble. That was that, right? Was it that or Survivor Series?
It was the Rumble.
Keith
Lee did a good job in the Rumble.
Keith Lee did a great job in the Rumble.
And I think he had a face-to-face with Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar went, "Ooh, big boy," or something oddball like that, right?
Look at that. What do you think Vince said?
Who's that? I don't think. Yeah, and Hunter was like, "Vince, you can't have him. Like, he needs to be the big guy here."
No, it was Survivor Series with Roman and Seth. That's what it was.
Okay.
But he did have a Rumble moment too. He had a Rumble moment, and Rumble was Brock. Roman and Seth were Survivor Series. Which, listen, this guy, if you think about this, right? We were talking about, Rich and I a year ago, were talking about how Keith Lee is not being profiled in a high position right now because when he signed with that company, they held off for a while, right?
Oh yeah.
And everybody was questioning, where's Keith Lee? This guy is tremendous. He's a great talent. I mean, he has this unbelievable natural charisma that stands out. And when I asked, they said they have big plans for this guy. They have tremendous plans for this guy. They got to hold off. They got to hold off, and they did it perfectly. You want to talk about a perfect build for this guy? They display him at Survivor. He had a couple of big wins. They display him at Survivor Series. Guy broke out at Survivor Series, had a great moment in the Rumble, and it's been a proper build to this moment where Keith Lee becomes the NXT champion along with the North American champion. So he's unified the titles. He's the undisputed champion, whatever they're going to call him. But I loved how they built this guy.
Absolutely. They did a really good job. Very old school, like slow storytelling, big payoff type thing. And the guy, from what we always hear, is like the model employee.
Yeah. Like the sweetest guy in the world, doesn't have any problems, doesn't have any, any skeletons in his closet. Like and listen, the guy is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So we'll see what happens now with this, because you could see that the next feud is going to be Killer Cross. That's what his big angle is going to be, which is a great moment for him because it's going to display a high-profile match. Now, here's a question for you, Rich. What happens to Adam Cole?
I don't know. That's a really good question. I want to say they're going to put him on Monday Night Raw, or maybe he just doesn't sign and jump ship. But I do think he's going to stay there.
No. He has an 18-month contract. He has tremendous terms on his contract, and I'm willing to bet. So I was told SmackDown. He was going to SmackDown. Okay. They're probably going to in a normal situation, they would extend his contract. Right now, he would get a different contract because he's on the main roster, or he continues at a high pay. But I've been told they're not doing any new contracts until they figure out when they could have house shows and live shows and all that stuff. I don't know if the whole Undisputed Era is coming, but man, that act would be great on SmackDown. It would be beneficial for them, but what a loss to NXT. But what, here's the situation. What's more valuable to build right now, SmackDown or NXT?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think they really need something for SmackDown, and NXT is chugging along quite nicely, right?
Yeah.
SmackDown and Raw seem to be floundering big time, and they're not where they should be, especially with the recent creative shakeups. So I think if they gave Adam Cole a little leeway on Raw to kind of be the main guy, on SmackDown to be the main guy, it would be a lot of fun, right?
Yeah. Listen, something different, something new, something fresh is always what you need. You can't stay stagnant. I don't want to see a Baron Corbin match anymore. I don't.
You're gonna get Adam Cole versus Baron Corbin.
I know. It's gonna be Adam Cole versus Baron Corbin, Adam Cole versus Dolph Ziggler, and then you're gonna throw an Adam Cole versus a top guy, and it's gonna be like this bizarro finish.
Yeah.
AJ Styles. Oh, you know what? I would love to see Adam Cole and AJ Styles. Love to see that. So there's a lot that they're gonna do with him. I hope this is the moment, because SmackDown definitely needs it, and that main roster definitely needs it, and this is a great time for new guys to come up. Like you're seeing, Killer Cross and Keith Lee and Phantasma. You're gonna get that. So interesting shake up to the roster. I think NXT will suffer when they leave, but it's fine. They're a product that they're building. They could always replace them with somebody new in that spot.
Right.
Balor's still in the mix,
Balor's definitely in the mix. Sometimes I'm like, what's his deal now? Is he just super chilled out in Florida, newly married, getting tattoos, working like a couple of times a month, just chilling,
He's doing that. You know what it is? They're running a territory thing, right? They're running a Florida territory. Okay. They're working one. I mean, normally they run a couple more nights, but they're running one night. They're just tanning all day. They're working out. Have you seen Gallows? Did you see that jacked
my
up
God.
photo of him in that Impact
Yeah,
shirt?
he's-
My God.
Yeah,
My God. Also,
he's
let's
looking
talk
good.
Yeah, he's looking great. Also, you want to touch on Raw really quickly? That Heath Slater segment, Rich?
Oh,
How good?
I felt it. Did you feel it? Did you get emotional?
Yeah, man. I hope this guy, and we said he's going to do this, right? Said all this guy needs to do, hit the gym, get jacked, change his character a little bit, and he'll get signed. I didn't like that they wrestled in their jeans.
Why not?
I don't know. I thought that was weird. They're like, I'm going to give you a match, and it was 2 minutes.
Do you not like it when dudes wrestle in jeans?
I hate it. I hate it. You know what ruined it for me? Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels
When he came
wrestling
back?
when he came back and he had that street fight in his jeans, and it just like dad jeans from the 90s.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't even good jeans. It bothered me. I don't like to see these men in jeans. I don't think wrestlers should
You just
ever wear
want-
jeans.
You just want straight undies.
I just want straight undies. Nope. Barely pants I'm okay with, like the tight pants. I can't do it.
What
Can't
about those Ziggler? What about those Ziggler short shorts? You want that too, right?
I love the Ziggler short shorts. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I don't want to I don't want
But
to
no,
see
even-
I don't want to see Drew Galloway in his Drew McIntyre in his wide leg jeans.
What about they were pretty big. What about when Bulldog came back and he wrestled in jeans?
Oh, so uncomfortable, man.
Really?
Construction site Bulldogs sucked.
Even like he's catcalling everybody.
Yeah.
What
He's just
about?
he's sitting on a milk crate just catcalling women? Perfect.
Yeah, baby, come over here.
Yeah.
What about Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose? Those guys. Terry Funk. Terry Funk was a big jeans guy.
I'm okay. No, Terry Funk wore those weird striped Joker pants.
He did, but he was on occasion a jeans guy. Dusty was on occasion a jeans guy.
Dusty was a jeans guy, yeah. Yeah, he loved bloody jeans, filthy, bloody jeans.
Why do the jeans make you so uncomfortable?
So bad. I don't like
I
it.
want to know this.
I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I hate it.
All right.
Hate
Okay.
it.
All right.
Other than the Heath Slater return, there wasn't really much on Raw. Just a nothing show, in my opinion.
Well, I am enjoying the Asuka, Bailey, Sasha deal. I think they're doing their best to make Sasha and Bailey as entertaining as possible.
Hey,
I think with the
what did you see that elbow?
to the outside, that was awesome.
So what happened there?
What do you mean?
So Bailey looked like she got hurt. Like she got legitimately hurt. And she was like shook up a little bit. Because Asuka acted like she made a mistake by hitting her really hard.
Okay.
But it was it was like
okay.
recorded. So I found it odd that they didn't cut it out or reshoot it. But it looked bad. Like it looked like Bailey got hurt. And Asuka was like genuinely concerned that she hurt Bailey in the match.
Yeah. Do you think Heath is staying or no?
I don't know. I hope he does, because where the hell is he going to go? His act is really good
Impact.
in WWE. I don't know
Impact,
how much
because he can team with Rhino again.
He could team with Rhino again. I guess so.
Also, what do you think the I have two questions. One is the next pay-per-view this Sunday?
The next pay-per-view is the 18th.
July 18th.
Yes, July 18th and
That's
19th. Yeah, 18th is Slammiversary, 19th is the horror show.
Okay, what do you think Ziggler's stipulation is going to be?
Oh man, I don't know. I was thinking about that. I haven't asked about it. It's gonna be a contract. If Heath,
what do you mean?
It's gonna be a contract for Heath, right? So if Drew wins, Heath could stay, but if Drew loses, Heath will never be in the WWE ever again.
That's interesting.
Right? Because you put that element in.
Maybe what if it was like the opposite, where it's like if you lose, your buddy gets his job back.
If you lose, your buddy gets the job. Oh man, can you imagine that? I'd be like, no, I don't give a shit. Let him not work.
I think Heath is done. I think Heath is moving on, to be honest with you, because what an ending, right? What a farewell to his
Nice
career
moment.
in WWE.
You know, it did get spoiled though. It did get spoiled by Jinder being hurt.
Yes,
that would have been the moment. That would have been a great moment. Excuse me, I had to sneeze and I didn't mute myself. I just changed the camera to you. My brain's not working today, man. I'm tired.
It's fine, man. It's fine.
Yeah. So I that was it from there. I don't want to listen. I don't want to concentrate on Raw so much because it was old news. But we got Fyter Fest Night 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you the stuff that I really liked. Okay. Let's go through this card. Kenny Omega, Adam Page defeated the Private Party. I thought this was a really good match.
That was a lot of fun. Private Party need new outfits, like big time.
Yeah, Private Party definitely needs new outfits.
They're starting to look like old carpets.
Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, really good display of what they're able to do. I thought it was a very good match. 11 minutes. Interesting, they did Adam and Kenny and Adam 2 nights back to back. Were they the only ones that worked both nights like this?
I want to say yes.
Like in a main event position, you know, like a title defense. I thought that was interesting that the title was defended both nights. I guess I don't know if it was filler or what, but I thought it was a very good match they had. They're really showing that they are the dominant tag team here in the division. They're trying to push this as, you know, this is a real division, this tag team division, which it is. It's really stacked, which we'll talk about a little bit more. What did you think of the match? You liked it?
I really, really enjoyed it, man. I'm a big fan of quick snap wrestling, like that Kenny Omega style.
Yeah.
And it worked, and they play off very, very well. Prior Party was very, very good. And I think that they are definitely going to have a nice run with the tag belts, but maybe next year.
Yeah. Listen, man, they're still new. They're not, they're not a major TV act. They're just it's only been a couple of months they've been on TV like this, and I don't know anybody that really doesn't like them. So they're just building now. They're in that building phase, which I thought it was a good way to get exposure with 2 top guys in the ring on a big show. We had the second match was Lance Archer with Jake Roberts defeated Joey Janela with Sunny Kiss. 11 minutes. I was shocked how much they gave Janela. I thought Janela was going to get murdered here, and it was a competitive match.
Janela's been working out. Yeah, great match. Janela's looked good. This kind of made me realize why I started liking him in the first place from like a couple of years ago. And I think it's a good pairing, man. Like Lance could work with anybody. Janela and Sunny Kiss are a great tag team. Very entertaining.
Yeah. By the way, I'm being told right now that guy that leaked the image of Keith Lee winning, it was done internally. It was to drum up interest.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, which makes sense, man. Which makes a lot of sense because I tuned in because I knew what the finish was. So, interesting. Very interesting that WWE did that because he can't be that dumb to do it, right? The person that posted that.
I mean, listen, you had stuff like that. Remember when I think it was the first Avengers and what's his name had his cell phone on by accident? And like Mark Ruffalo, and he sent out like the first 20 minutes of the movie on like a live stream by accident, you know?
By accident.
By quote unquote by accident. But, anything could happen.
Can I tell you what I've gotten into heavily in the last week?
Please tell me. Please tell me before I say something. Okay.
Heavily into this, like obscenely into it. Not drugs.
Okay.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z rules, dude.
I have revisited Dragon Ball Z. And it's insane now. Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball. And what's canon and what's not. I went down that rabbit hole the other night of what's canon to the storyline and what's not canon to the storyline. I'm so into it.
It's a lot of fun, dude.
Who's your favorite Dragon Ball Z character?
Goku and Vegeta, like number 1.
Vegeta's my guy.
And then close third, Trunks. But it gets so bonkers, and I think Dragon Ball GT is when I stopped, and I'm trying to pick it up again because I think they reworked the entire story, right?
They did rework it, yeah. Well, so what they're doing with Super, it seems like they're taking the movies, right? The movie storylines, and they're redoing them, which is interesting. Anyway, we'll talk about Dragon Ball Z after this.
Yeah.
So I thought they gave Joey Janela a tremendous fight in this. I was surprised. I really liked it. Sonny Kiss did great in his role here. Love that he was murdered
450 splash,
early
dude.
on. Yeah, love that he was murdered early on. So 450 splash looked great. So very good stuff. Now I want to talk about my favorite match of the night. Can we talk about how great the Butcher is?
Yeah, Butcher's awesome.
The Butcher's the best character ever on TV. This guy is the epitome of a professional wrestling character.
Absolutely.
I'm so high on this guy.
Dude is great.
So high on this guy.
You were sending me pictures of him yesterday, too.
I was just sending him pictures of the Butcher. The Butcher and the Blade and Lucha Brothers, which Pentagon and Ray Phoenix, two of the top guys in the business, defeated FTR and the Young Bucks. This was a tremendous match. I'm going to say probably the best match Butcher and Blade have ever had in their lives.
In their lives.
They've never had a better match than this. I thought Pentagon and Ray Phoenix looked excellent. I thought this was one of the best mixed tag team matches I've ever seen. As far as an 8-man tag team goes, loved it. Loved everything about this match.
How did you pop for the Destroyer to the outside?
Who did it again?
I think it was Nick Jackson and Phoenix.
Yes. Yeah. Phenomenal. They're doing a great job with these guys. I mean, they really. What do you think they're doing? I mean, I know that the big story here is going to be the Bucks versus FTR at All Out or All Out. Yeah, All Out.
I don't know.
What do you do?
I think from that 8-man tag, that was definitely like the AEW highlight reel, right? Where it's like, this is what we can give you and just stay with us and we're going to give you more of this all the time. And plus in that match, everybody looked good. And I do think at some point you're going to get a long Ray Phoenix versus Nick Jackson angle that's going to be tremendous. Like those dudes are going to fight until the end of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved it. Loved that match. Loved everybody, and everybody looked great. I'm telling you, Butcher is my favorite wrestling character right now. As of this week, this guy, I'm sold on him top to bottom. Everybody hated him. Everybody hated this guy. Everybody was crapping on his look. He's so gnarly. Do you know he was born 1980? He's 40 years old.
Yeah, dude's in Every Time I Die also.
Yeah, he's our age. I just want to put it out there. He's not too much older than me. He's what, a year older than you?
Yeah, about
a year older. This guy is great. He looks like he's like 58 years old, and he's had a really rough life.
Classic. Well, I think it's all the rock and roll touring, but definitely a classic throwback pro wrestler look in the modern era. And I think he has a podcast with Blade also, right?
I don't know. I'd love to check it out.
Yeah.
I'd love to check it out. I missed the Nyla Rose match. It was a squash match. It was a handicap 2-on-1. Nyla looked like a monster, which is fine. The next match I wasn't too crazy about, but it was fine. Colt Cabana and with the darker. By the way, Colt Cabana, they showed it on TV, had a hematoma. Did you see that?
Oh my God!
The side of his entire stomach was just bruised tremendously. Colt Cabana with the Dark Order, Brody Lee and Stu Grayson defeated SoCal Uncensored. I think they gave this a little bit too much time. It was okay. Didn't really.
You skipped a very pivotal moment in the broadcast, though.
Yes, I did.
Did you do that on purpose?
I wanted you to go into it.
So
I don't want to talk about him.
So, okay.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
So we've been like, I don't want to say dumping on Taz, but like, you know, like we've had our complaints about the Taz Brian Cage thing. Last night, completely, I feel for me, flipped it on its ear. And I love nostalgia in wrestling when it's done right. And this segment was done perfectly, where Taz brought out his old ECW FTW championship.
Okay.
Can we say the word?
Yeah. Let me just, before you say it,
Okay.
I just want to say this. I was actually pleasantly surprised how many people in the wrestling community had no idea what the FTW title is, why he brought it out, what it stands for. I got messaged like endless on Twitter saying, "What the hell is this? What the hell does that mean?
What is
for
this?
the win? What, so stupid. The for the win title, the for the win title." And I put out a tweet on the Matman account, and like it came out of nowhere, but I was like, guys, this is Taz's title. In ECW, he got screwed over for the world title. So he came up with his own title, and it was the Fuck the World Championship. It was the Fuck the World title. You want to explain what this belt was?
Well, can we go into the whole FTW thing before that?
Yeah.
So, like, Taz would have FTW on his bandages, on his arm bandages. And I thought as, like, a 15, 16, 17-year-old dude watching this shit, it was the baddest ass thing in the world, right? Like, were you not the biggest Taz fan when he was, like, destroying ECW?
I was a huge Taz fan. I don't think people know that. Taz was probably my favorite wrestler in that era, like 98, 99. I love Taz. I had the Taz shirts.
I
had the Taz 13 shirt. I'm gonna tell you guys something. I have a tattoo on my back, right? You see my tattoo, right?
Yes.
You see my tattoo. It says 13 underneath because that's my birth date, but I really love that whole thing that he had that 13 thing, you know? I was a huge Taz fan, and then he betrayed me and you with his rant that we ripped him off.
Oh, the t-shirt thing?
Yeah.
You put him on your shit list after that.
Yeah. He's on my shit list now. I don't care. Listen, whatever. He was living a gimmick, I guess. I don't know. I offered him steak. I said, come to Uncle Jack's. I'll take you out to dinner. I should ask.
I don't eat dinner, bro.
I don't eat dinner, bro. I don't eat dinner. He doesn't have to eat dinner. He's Taz, man. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Dude, what do you think? Do you think it's gonna work? Is this, go into this thing, because only two people have held this title. Taz, and Sabu.
Yeah.
Dude, do we get Sabu back? Does Sabu come back and try to challenge Brian Cage for the title?
If we get next week John Moxley versus Brian Cage that ends with a Sabu run-in, I would be very, very happy with that.
No, brother.
I think if you get like this honestly popped the ECW fan in me yesterday, and I was like yelling at my TV, and my wife's like, "What's happening?" And I was like, "Out of the fuck the world." Ugh.
Yeah, dude, that was great.
But because like I remember this is my old man phrase, which is like I remember when FTW meant "fuck the world," not for the win.
Yeah.
But I think next week, if you get this is also a good way to keep a title on Brian Cage and not have him beat Moxley.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Sabu running.
What's the stipulation of this? Is this going to be like a hardcore thing? You know what I think it is? It's the the BMF title that UFC has. I think it's going to be the equivalent to something like that, right? It's an unsanctioned title. It's the baddest guy holds this title in the company. It's not a hardcore title, but it's, I'm a bad MFer.
Yeah.
Taz is great though, man. In a manager role, and isn't it, Rich? WWE doesn't do managers, right? They do, they don't do male managers, especially. Now you're starting to see a little bit like Zelina Vega, and you're starting to see it with some other guys becoming, in a manager role. But it's a rarity to see someone like Taz or Arn Anderson or Tully or Jake Roberts in a WWE position where he's managing this young talent and he's cutting these promos for them. Man, outside of Paul Heyman, I think Taz is cutting these truly remarkable manager promos.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Absolutely. I think having Taz as the mouthpiece against Moxley's promo style has worked very well for this feud, and the feud got an extra week, which I think this made it more special. Instead of having them fight tonight, now you have the FTW title thrown into the mix. I feel like this is going to be like a bloody brawl. It's going to end up being nuts.
Love it. I love the theory that Sab was going to do a run in and take Taz out.
How great would that be?
They just wipe out. Can you imagine that? Love it. That would make me so freaking happy. Guys, make this happen. I know there are guys in AEW that watch this. Get Sabu. I don't care. Just have him do something. I want him out with his Aladdin pants pointing at the sky. That's all I want to see him do. Lights go off. Lights come on. He's there. And then he disappears. That's all I want to see. Just let me do it.
Also, do you have a pair of Aladdin pants at home?
I do. Oh, you haven't seen my another wrestling gimmick that I have with the Aladdin pants?
Oh, no.
Oh,
what is it? What's it called?
And I'm shirtless, and I have abs. I gotta find this now. How do I search?
And I have abs.
I have tremendous abs. How do I search for Aladdin pants?
Search for Aladdin pants, tan abs.
Well, this is pre-kids, right? Because I had abs. So let's go all the way back to a time that no longer exists.
Before you put on the baby weight.
Before I put on all the baby weight. Let's see. Okay, you ready for this? I'm going to send it to Rich. I've never shown this to anybody. Rich has it now.
All right, let me take a look at this.
All right. Take a look.
Oh, what are you sitting on? No, I've seen this before. That's a good one. Do you still have these? Yeah. Do you still have this?
The outfit? Yeah, I still got the outfit.
Pretty good. This should be your Halloween costume.
Dude, look how great my abs look. Look at that. I have like a 4.5 pack. That's a Patreon exclusive, by the way. That will be a Patreon exclusive. That photo.
The next pay-per-view event that we do.
The next watch along. We're gonna. I will debut that character, Binzarian. So we'll do that. I thought it was great, man. I really enjoyed the Taz stuff. We could talk about it forever. I'm curious to see where they go with this, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Main event
Time. Let's go into it.
All right. So yeah, Jericho in the culmination of an interesting feud, Jericho versus Orange Cassidy. I thought fun, nice, snappy, quick match. We talked in the beginning of the show how at one point Jericho was considered a small guy. He looks like a monster compared to Orange Cassidy.
Oh my God. And you wrote that to me and you're like, Jericho's a small guy. I was like, I can't believe that. Thinking like by today's standards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how? And by the way, Jonathan, I'm going to send you the image because he's going to use that for Photoshops.
Amazing.
Yeah. Jericho has transcended into a different realm of wrestling at this point, right? He has, and dude, let me tell you, I'm a big Chris Jericho fan, but I never saw him as on the same mountain as like The Rock or Austin, right? Like he was a great worker, but he was just, he didn't have that. Now, looking at his body of work over the last, 3 years, everything he did in Japan, his last run in WWE, right? The last run with the list, Japan, the Painmaker gimmick, now this, holy moly, this guy has become that special tier attraction that he wasn't, that he wasn't. He was always one of the best workers in the world, but he wasn't that guy. Now he is. And he does half of what he used to do.
Oh my God. But he does more than he used to. Jericho is the gift that keeps on giving between promos, work rate, the inner circle, doing commentary, doing all the other extra wrestling stuff that he does. Like he is the modern GOAT.
Yeah. So with that said, however, I was not crazy about the match.
Why not?
There was a lot of hype for this. I saw that Chris Jericho said that this was one of his best matches. I think he saw the success of his tweet about that stadium brawl that they had when he tweeted that, and people were very interested. So I think he attempted it again. I'm gonna say it again. Like I get why people like Orange Cassidy. It doesn't work for me. And I'm not saying it
Okay.
to rag on him or crap on you for liking it. Just the gimmick does zero for me. I understand why people are into it. Like, he has moments that I'm like, okay, this is cool. This is a comedy moment, quick moment. But to watch him in an 18-minute match with Jericho, I just feel that the styles, it's difficult. It's a very difficult thing to get over. It just, I don't know.
Right.
Do you get where I'm coming from with this?
I do and I don't. I just think you have a hard on for the guy for a misplaced reason. I don't think it's 100% like you don't get the gimmick. I think there's something else there where you're just like, you know what? F this guy.
No. I understand what people see, right? 100%. I understand why people would find it interesting. I just have no interest in watching an 18-minute match with this gimmick. That's my point. Like, I can't, on this show for Jericho to have this match, I understand the build that they've had. I don't think it was a main event match.
Really?
I don't think it was a main event match. No.
So do you go ahead.
No, go ahead. By the way, guys, we're having, I don't know what's going on here. We use VMix Call for the call. You're in sync. I'm looking at the stats. You're in sync, and then you drop like 700 milliseconds behind. So we're trying to constantly play catch up. So I'm going to slow it down a little bit to try to
I think
this.
I think my computer might be overheating.
Maybe that's what it is. I thought it was me.
I think that's what it is. I'm in a very hot room right now.
Sorry.
So
because you're in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Man. So yeah, Daddy's busy. We're gonna have to get Daddy's Busy shirts up on.
Daddy's
Pro
Busy
Wrestling
has
Tees.
to be one. Love it.
So
you know what? Let's get Jonathan to make some.
Oh, Jonathan, would you hear the beginning of the conversation where Andrew was tanning, and the beginning of the podcast where Andrew was tanning and somebody walked in on him, but Andrew tans with like, he just basically puts like a piece of raw meat over his crotch. So so he gets two things done at once and cook a steak while he gets tan.
So Jonathan, I sent him the photo. Obviously crop out everything in the back.
Yeah.
All right.
So anyway, but you're not saying Orange Cassidy's a bad worker. You're saying you just don't agree with the gimmick and you don't want to watch the gimmick for a prolonged amount of time on TV.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
I'm just, it's not something that I really want to see in a competitive match. The gimmick, I can't see him in a competitive position. And you're having him out there in this major main event with Chris Jericho, one of the greatest of all time, and his gimmick is that he's like a sloth, right? I don't know. Didn't do it for me.
Is it too gimmicky for you? Is this like watching Santino Marella fight like Roman Reigns in the main event of a pay-per-view?
Above that, for sure. I think it's above that, but not by much. I don't know. Listen, man. I'm not poo-pooing on what you enjoy. I'm just saying, didn't do it for me. But Jericho looked great.
Not for
Loved
you.
it. Not for me.
Not for you.
Not for me. Yeah. What else did we have? Anything else that I missed from this? And then we're going to do our Q&A segment.
I think we're good. That was the end of the show. Two strong shows last night. I disagree with you about you saying that NXT was better. I think Fyter Fest was, for me, the more entertaining show. And I kept flipping over to NXT, and it was just like grunt sounds and hitting a mat a bunch in complete silence in a dark room. And I was like, this is not what I'm in the mood for. I need lights. I need people yelling. It sounded like the AEW arena was full yesterday. And for me, more entertaining show. Next week, you're getting Cody and Sonny Kiss for the TNT title, which I think will be amazing.
Yeah, so that, and by the way, next week is a special show as well. It's Fight for the Fallen. Fight for the Fallen is next week. So I'm curious why they're doing that. Is there a reason? Did they explain why they're doing Fight for the Fallen as well as a free event like that?
I don't know. I just think because everything's up in the air with the arena situation. Like they announced this week that SummerSlam got canceled in Boston, right? And they're moving it to the Performance Center.
Yes, but I have a theory on this. You want me to tell you this? I have a theory.
Please.
I have not been told this by anybody, so this is just my theory. I feel like both brands are rushing to get through storyline to reach where they want it to be at this point already. So if you realize a lot of things slowed down, as far as, storyline building, a lot of filler because they don't know when they're going to be in front of a live crowd. So like something like the Revival debuting, right? That kind of sucks when you have to do it in front of nobody, opposed to doing, a big, making that big debut in front of everybody. So I think they slowed things down a little bit, and now maybe they're getting word that, okay, arenas may open soon, buildings may open soon. So they're trying to get through as much they can to reach the point that they wanted to be at in September.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's just my theory, because it seems like this is too many nights back to back with gimmicks. Right, you had the Fyter Festival that was 2 nights. They obviously spread it for competitive reasons for TV. NXT did the same thing. Now you have another, special event. There's no need to do this week, right? After 2 big nights back to back, the third one, why are you giving away a special event this close? You could do it next month. Why not? You could do it at the end of the month.
Well, because their big lead up is supposed to be like all in 3 in September, right?
That's the big one, and they still have the deposit on that building. They have not been told that that they're definitely not running. Chicago's not doing terrible, so it is possible that they could run that building with maybe a couple thousand people.
Okay.
Very possible.
Or do you think they're doing Fight for the Fallen so close to Fyter Fest is because they have their champion headlining it, and they were like, well, we can't just have this as a regular show?
It's very possible. I'm trying to think when they ran 2019 one. Okay. Fight for the Fallen previous 2019 was July 13th. Okay, so it was the same time. So when the hell was Fyter Fest? Fyter Fest was June 29th. Okay, so
yeah, pretty close.
They were pretty close. Okay, so I guess that's what they did last year. I didn't notice it last year. It's being that close. Interesting.
Cool.
Yeah. So it
and
is
next week is a pretty decent card.
Yeah, next week. What do you have the card?
I do. I'm looking at it right now. You're getting Elite, Kenny, Matt, and Nick versus Jurassic Express. I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
I think that's going to be a potential. Go ahead.
No. I think it's interesting because odd man out here. Hangman's not in it.
Right. FTR versus the Lucha Brothers. Very much looking forward to that.
That could be their best match of all time.
Cody versus Sonny Kiss. I think that's going to be amazing.
And
we've already talked about Moxley versus Brian Cage with the Sabu run-in.
With the Sabu run-in, man. Please let it happen. Come on, guys. Let's see this. How about Shane Douglas? What if Shane Douglas comes out?
That would be, I think you need one more ECW original to show up, right?
Okay, let's do it. I would say Shane Douglas, Sabu, and Lou E. Dangerously.
Oh yeah,
bring Sign Guy Dudley back. I would do that.
Well, this is next week too. Isn't Dreamer challenging Moose for like the his TNA championship?
That's hysterical. I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's happening.
It's so weird.
Like next week?
Wrestling is so weird, right? I mean, listen, wrestling's been weird, which in a good way, but the fact that Tommy Dreamer is challenging Moose in TNA, in Impact, fascinating.
I love it.
Yeah, love it.
And Taz is the mouthpiece for Brian Cage.
For Brian Cage.
Isn't it crazy how ECW just doesn't die?
It won't, man. It won't. It's impossible. It was such a culture shock to the industry. I think people forget. There's a great documentary, right? That ECW documentary, Something Wired. Do you know which one?
Yeah.
I forgot the name.
Was it Born to Be Wired, or was that a pay-per-view?
ECW. That was a pay-per-view, but ECW documentary. Barbed Wire City. Barbed Wire City is one of my favorite ECW documentaries. It was done in 2013, and they do. It's an unauthorized ECW documentary, but they get a chance to interview everybody, and some are old, some are new. But the story of how much these guys, it was a cult. They believed in it. They believed in it. Tommy Dreamer, a couple years ago, told a story about how when ECW, the final days of ECW, Paul Heyman didn't tell the boys, didn't tell anybody that this was happening. And he was still telling them, I'm working on him in LA. Shut up on WWE TV. And Dreamer was stuck booking, still running house shows. ECW was dead, but still running house shows and selling out, 3,000, 2,000, 4,000 people. They were just abandoned. The captain left the ship, and Dreamer had to kind of run things. He said in that interview that the night of WrestleMania, what was it, 17? Right? WrestleMania 17. Yeah, 2000. Yeah. The night of WrestleMania 17, he wanted to go to the front. He wanted to get front row seats, pull out a gun, shoot Paul Heyman in the back of the head, and kill himself. That's how impacted he was. And he wanted to do it live on TV. I remember that. That's how deranged and impacted he was from what happened to ECW. These guys took no money. They put their own money in. I'm not going to say certain people in that company told me stories and I'm like, it had to be heartbreaking that they did this and they sacrificed, and at the end, they were abandoned. They didn't get what they were promised, but still, 20-something years, 30 years later, 1992, ECW started Eastern Championship Wrestling. It's been 21 years since it collapsed. 19 years. And we still talk about it.
And you know what? It proves that what impact these guys had on the business, where Taz ended up being a viable commodity, having not wrestled for close to 20 years at this point, right?
Not wrestled close to 20 years, became a commentator, a decent one,
right?
Became a decent commentator, went to TNA, was an announcer there, did a couple things, small things, but this guy is, you're right, total commodity. Unbelievable.
I think Sabu's going to show up, and I think Taz is going to put him in a Taz mission.
Brother.
And then and then everybody just starts bleeding profusely from their forehead.
Perfect. Love it. All right, guys, Q&A time. Mailbag time, guys. Submit your questions in the chat room. We'll do our best to answer them. Also, if you want to call in, this is your chance. 888-828-1437. That's 888-828-1GFQ. You could call this in right now and ask a question. We're just keeping the line open. We're not going to do a lot of phone calls. If you want to call in, you could call in. I got the phone line here. If not, submit your questions in the chat. Rich, you want to read some?
Hi. I don't see any questions.
Okay. All right. Let's see. That ends the segment.
I know. Well, I mean, you got to give people time. I really would love to take a call in, but Aaron's got a question. Did you talk about the best match of AEW last night, the Puppy Bowl?
I missed it. I missed the Puppy Bowl. I walked out of the room. So do you miss it too?
I missed it too.
Crap.
I did, however, enjoy Cody doing Hot Ones with Sean Evans.
Yeah, but they called him the AEW champion.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Yeah, they refer to him as the AEW champion, not the AEW, TNT champion.
He's an AEW champion.
He's one of them. Yeah. I thought it was interesting.
I got a question for you. What current active wrestler would you not mind spending a day with?
Active wrestler? So what are we doing? We're going to the bar and hanging out like a normal day for me?
Normal. You sleep over, let's say in the ideal situation, you sleep over at their place or whatever, and then you basically tail them for an entire day until the sun goes down.
His whole day? Like, I want it to be like, oh, we're just chilling. We're just hanging out, getting a couple drinks and hanging out.
Sure. How about both?
Okay, both.
Yeah.
Who would I love to hang out with? Let's see. I'd love to hang out with I'd love to go out drinking with The Undertaker.
like current Undertaker, like
Yeah,
now,
like
80
current
year old
Undertaker.
All right.
Like this Undertaker. I'd love to go out drinking with him because he's so open now to talk about the business.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to go out drinking with the Undertaker. You know what? Stone Cold. Take it all back. I wanna drink with Stone Cold, hang out with him because we could talk about podcasts. Jericho too. I would do Jericho as well because we have a lot of things in common. We're both handsome boys.
What do you have in common with Chris Jericho?
Podcasting. Hair.
Okay, that's one thing. That's one thing.
Hair.
Everybody has hair.
No, well, we could talk about his hair.
Okay.
He likes to drink. So
Okay.
it just would be, I think we would concentrate more on podcasting. The whole conversation would be podcasting, and they'd be awed by me, both of them. They'd be awed by my podcasting ability and the fact that I built the studio, and then we would have like this work relationship. It would be wonderful.
Okay.
If I was to
and then you would
follow
turn it
one guy,
into a romantic relationship.
it would become very romantic. You know, cuddling, a lot of that. If I were to follow somebody, it'd be The Rock. I want to see what this guy does all day.
I said active wrestlers, and you did what everybody on the internet does.
I did.
Like, yo,
I didn't listen. I didn't. You
yo,
know what,
bro,
Chris Jericho. Let's do Chris
Okay.
Jericho. He counts, right? Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
And I would do following a current wrestler. See what their day's like. I would do Roman Reigns.
See what their day's like.
Roman Reigns.
Really? That's a good one.
I just want to see what he does all day.
So oh my God, Jonathan just sent me an awesome Photoshop. Thank you, sir.
Of what?
Pretty excellent. Of you.
Oh, send it to me.
Oh, it's so good. I will.
Let me see this.
So, Jonathan, can you send it to Andrew also? I feel like that's
Please.
easier than me doing it for some reason.
Yes.
So if you're spending a whole day with Roman Reigns, so basically you're just hanging out with him and his kids.
Yeah.
And then watching him get like real all the conditioner in his hair.
Yeah. All the conditioner. My God.
Would
That's
you put
fucking great. Am I blasting off into space?
Yeah.
Is this what's
pretty great?
I'm saving this. I'm not going to debut this yet. Oh, this is great.
I said, can you make it look like he's his bottom half is a rocket blast?
So good.
All right. We got a couple of questions here. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Any news on the Velveteen Dream?
So, the last point of communication I had about Velveteen Dream was that Friday. Nobody has said a freaking word. It's radio silence. Nobody's talking. Nobody is saying anything. And I've asked everybody, people that would know, nobody's responding. Nobody is saying anything. It's almost like it's disappeared. So I don't know what action they're taking. Obviously, this is a legal matter, so nobody's going to talk about it at this point. So we'll see what happens. I would be very shocked if they don't, punish him in some way.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, like, if they cut him loose, they're not, like the WWE machine keeps rolling on, right?
Yeah. Listen, if the accusations are accurate, and it seems like they are, it's heinous. It's gross. I don't know. There's no coming back in the industry after that. I can tell you that. It's bad. I don't know. I don't want to speculate on this. I just report. With the whole Velveteen Dream, I literally word for word said what I was told from people that know. Right. We'll see what happens.
It wasn't. It was definitely confirmed by numerous sources.
Yeah.
That we have, that you have. Is the opposite of radio silence Radio City Music Hall?
That is exactly it.
Also, I have a great idea for a feud for Enchante. That his nemesis is some of the heinous anus.
The heinous is Enchante dead now because of the Velveteen Dream's problems?
Well, no, Enchante was always an exotico.
He's always an exotico. I feel like Velveteen Dream was a little too close to the character.
Who's the best male free agent for NXT to sign?
Best male free agent for NXT to sign. Jeez, I don't even know who's available. Who's available?
Bubba Dudley.
Bubba Dudley? Who's available? I mean, that's a good question. Young up-and-coming guy that's available right now. That's a free agent? I don't know. But I think, you're going to see a lot of these other guys like Will Ospreay and them. They got to make a decision where they're going, what they're doing.
Yeah.
He's bulking up to be a heavyweight, so
if there's no indie circuit, then there's really no free agent, right? I mean, you can't really have a free agent in like the current landscape of things because of just everything's like still shut down,
Yeah.
That's a good question though. But I will say, like, I guess since Bubba is done with Ring of Honor, he's doing reportedly one last run with WWE. What if he went to NXT? What if you had Bully Ray versus Keith Lee in like a 3-month program?
I love that. I would love that.
Right?
Yeah. Great heel work by Bully Ray.
Let's see. What are your thoughts on Matt Riddle's? Oh, we got news?
No. Go ahead.
Oh, what are your thoughts on the Matt Riddle comments?
I watched the video. It was a 2-minute video. It was short. You could see that he did not really feel comfortable with it. What he pretty much said was, I had an affair. It was known. My wife knew that I had an affair. He wasn't too proud of it. He wasn't gloating about it. That they're working, essentially him and his wife have worked through the issue. And that all it was with Candy Cartwright was it was an affair. This is his story, right? It was an affair. They were in a relationship. He tried to break it off. She was angry over that fact and didn't. This is his story, by the way. She didn't want to accept it and started stalking him. Listen, this is now becoming a whole separate issue, right? He is denying that entire story about being in the car and the driver and all that accusation. He's denying it, obviously, but the person that I believe was supposed to be in the car also says that it never happened. Nothing like that happened. Now it's becoming, unfortunately, it's become a game of he said, she said, and it's just going to be that. I hope it's not true. I mean, I would love to say that it's not true because I don't like to think that he's capable of that or he would do that. But, we don't know. Nobody knows other than the people in that car at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. What's WWE's plan for Mania next year for the main event?
Oh, God, I have no freaking idea. I have no freaking idea. In a normal circumstance, I would have said they're still loving to do that Roman Reigns Rock moment. But who Roman knows now? I can't even tell
Rock.
Roman Rock would be great. Hunter Rock.
Sabu running. Everything gets a Sabu running.
I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do here. Not a clue.
What are you more interested in? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You go. You read it.
All right. Next question. What are you more interested in? Slammiversary or Extreme Rules?
Dude, Slammiversary.
It seems very interesting, right? Because that's when you're like, dudes might show up.
Yeah, dudes might show up at that show. So I'm excited. I'm very interested in Slammiversary. I can't believe I'm saying that in 2020 that I'm interested in an Impact pay-per-view more than WWE pay-per-view, but way more interested in Slammiversary. Right now. Slammiversary?
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up really quick. Like,
let me get this card too.
I feel like it's gonna be like more like.
All right.
I always like the name of that pay-per-view.
Slammiversary
for some reason.
Very old school. Oh, here you go.
So, yeah.
I got the card. You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay. You got Ace Austin versus Eddie Edwards versus Trey and Turnbuckle Dan. Fatal 4-way for the Impact World Championship. Right?
Yeah, Turnbuckle Dan is going to be like Rusev.
Yeah. So this is for the Impact World Championship, okay? Just follow me here. You also have a TNA World Heavyweight title match. So I missed the storyline that Moose is the Impact TNA World Champion.
Well, he's the self-proclaimed Impact Champion, right?
Yes. No, TNA.
Okay.
It's a title match for the TNA title, not the Impact title.
Okay.
Right? And it actually says TNA on it. So, which is fascinating that they're bringing back the TNA name in this bizarro match. But you know what? Fascinating. Let's see what happens there. I think it's fascinating that they have the TNA title there. You're gonna have the North, which is Ethan Page and Josh Alexander versus Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan for the Impact Tag Team Championship.
It's gonna be fun.
Okay. Then you have a Willie Mack and Chris Bay. You have Jordan Grace and Deonna Purrazzo for the Knockout Championship. The other one,
that's gonna be a good match.
Yeah, I'm curious if Deonna Purrazzo does well in Impact, because she was she was going to get a big push in WWE, and I don't know what happened there. Then you have a number one contendership match with a bunch of women: Taya Valkyrie, Tasha Steelz, Rosemary, Madison Rain, Kylie Ray, Kimberly, Kira Hogan, Alicia Edwards. I think I'm missing somebody here. Who am I missing? Nevia. So we'll see what happens. But it looks like it's a stacked card, but you're going to have a lot of other things happen here, right? Like, do you see the Aces and Eights reunion like people are saying you're going to get? Who's Turnbuckle Dan? Who's Turnbuckle Dan?
I think in this situation, I think Turnbuckle Dan is going to be Rusev.
Rusev. Interesting.
Or Heath. I think in versus Tommy Dreamer ends with Sabu running.
Sabu running for the ending.
Perfect. And then he's like, "Oh, see you guys on Wednesday."
Yeah.
And then he shows up again. I'm honestly I don't know why, but I'm really looking forward to Moose versus Tommy Dreamer.
Me too. I'm excited.
That does it for me. That does it for me more than Dolph Ziggler versus Drew McIntyre.
Oh my God. I mean, how could it not?
EC3 might be Turnbuckle Dan.
EC3 could be Turnbuckle Dan, yeah. EC3's been hinting that he's going to... You know, it is interesting how Gallows and Anderson are hinting they're going to Impact, and EC3's hinting he's going to AEW. So,
yeah.
I kind of like this blend, but it seems like there possibly is some sort of work relationship starting to happen between the two.
That'd be cool. That would be cool.
I'm just saying. Because these guys are all going to be able to work everywhere, and I do like what Impact is doing right now. I think they're doing way more than Ring of Honor. I'll tell you that, and they're in a way better position than Ring of Honor is. They may have gotten. I think out of all things, Impact may have benefited from this. The competition is minimal at this point. There's not too much happening. These guys want to work in Impact. I think the stink of TNA is now becoming a nostalgia for the brand in a weird way, where you're not looking at it, where you're not looking at it with that here was the problem with TNA. Always from day one, they had great stuff. That X Division was innovative. They had very good. I mean, the talent that they had was through the freaking roof. But for some reason, they could never erase that WCW, the worst of WCW. That stink of the worst of WCW was never erased. And it just continued into TNA like a virus. And it stayed there. And a lot of people say, like, oh, it was Hogan, and it was Bischoff, and it was Nash, and it was Hall, and all that. I don't think that was the problem. I think it really had to do with the early days of TNA, where you had Jeff Jarrett as, like, the end-all, be-all in the company. You had the Russo stuff, which I didn't hate as much, but it just felt like WCW in many points. So I think now, you know, X amount of years later, we have hit the nostalgia point in TNA's history where you're only seeing the good. It's like the Attitude Era.
Right.
People are now forgetting how terrible the Attitude Era actually was.
Plus, there are, and I've always talked about this, and I'm always completely shocked by how many diehard TNA fans there are that refuse to watch anything else.
Do you know where they are? They're all in the UK. The UK and Florida. That's where the diehards are.
If Mysterio leaves WWE, will Dominic stay, or will he leave as well? I think wherever Poppy goes, Junior goes. Junior goes.
I don't know. I don't know what Dominic does without Ray, you know, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well,
let's see.
Ray's apparently working without a contract as a favor to WWE because they can't agree on numbers. So technically, he could show up. He could be hottest free agent in right now.
Yeah. I know that AEW really wants Ray. I'll tell you that.
Mhm.
Very, very much so. And they were close to signing him. Very close to signing Rey Mysterio. Like,
That'd be cool.
super close to Rey Mysterio. Listen, he's one of those guys that could elevate that. To work with mid-card talent, then they could do. I'm just saying, like, Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle, terrible use cases in WWE. Terrible. They used them so improperly, and I cannot fathom how they did that, why they did that. I really, and this is something that always bothers me. Like, those two returns, these are big names, two top names of an era, right? Between gate, merch sales, youthful interest in Rey Mysterio brought in a tremendous amount of young viewers, as much as John Cena did in that time frame, because you could connect to him. He was cartoony. Kids loved him. You bring him back and you just beat him every time. Kurt Angle came back, had that great match with Ronda, that tag match. They really didn't do much with him. They just had him lose. And they did that loser angle at the end, which fine, whatever. But Baron Corbin was the guy to beat him. You're not elevating Baron Corbin with that win. I don't get the logic, but Edge, on the other hand, they're protecting. By the way, we got a caller. You want to take it?
Oh, let's do it, man.
Let's do it. Call. You're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Corey from New York.
Corey, what's going on, man?
What's up, Corey?
Hey guys, just got a quick question for you guys. Do you think that we're rushing all of these matches with the FTR because of the fact that they're on this short-term deal and they're just trying to get all these dream matches out of the way? Or is it because of the fact we have no crowds and we're just trying to get people to continue to watch, the weekly program? Because, having the Lucha Brothers, which would be, I think, could headline a pay-per-view or be a co-main event, and, most likely all these other matches they're doing, it feels like, because I know they were on the Jim Cornette podcast and they said they're on a short-term deal, and it feels like they're just trying to get all of these matches out of the way and saying, we had these guys, the second-best tag team with the first best in right now. It seems like every week we have them facing a dream match where we could have built these two specialty shows.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Corey. I think there's two scenarios. Number one, I think they are slowing things. The concept was to slow things down at first. Now, I do agree with it. I think they're rushing things to get to the point that they wanted to be at in September. AEW has a very different logic when it comes to big matches on TV. They believe in putting on big matches on TV, opposed to other people, but they also look at their tag division, right? They don't really have these. It's not a floppy division where they have a lot of these guys that, like the Best Friends, obviously, in Private Party, but they are also elevating everybody. So it seems like everything is a big match, right? They got the Bucks to go against. They got Hangman and Omega. They got the Lucha Bros. There's a lot of guys to have big matches with. The big payoff for them is the Bucks. That's the end-all, be-all. That's the payoff. They need to have that in front of a crowd. They need to. There's no... It would be tremendous waste of an opportunity for a 4-year storyline build.
Absolutely.
Does that help you?
And I agree with that. It's just... It's one of those things where you wonder, though, are we wasting FTR as a result of the fact that, like I said, they might be on a short-term deal, And it's also the same idea of you got Proud and Powerful and you have all these other teams where everyone basically has like a 500 record. And I don't know if this is two different things here, but by putting records up, you're seeing how everyone's the same. I don't know if it's because you have such a deep tag team division, and they have by far the best tag team division all of North American wrestling, maybe in the world. But the idea that you have all these great tag teams, no one really stands out, and it just kind of turns into, what are we doing here,
No, I understand that. I think maybe the short-term deal thing does play a factor in it. Now, I expect them to stay. I don't expect them to leave. The reason for the short-term deal is because of everything happening right now with no with no gate money coming in. So I think the deal is that, listen, it's a short-term deal. We'll give it to you, but we'll renegotiate and we'll get there once we could bring in a live crowd. I don't think it's an intentional short-term deal unless it was. Maybe these guys want to feel and see what's going on. But I cannot see them heading back to WWE at all at this point. I think that bridge is gone for the time being.
Yeah.
And these guys want to feel free and have the matches that they want. And unfortunately, you can't do that over 6 months, right? You got to build your product. You got to build yourself over long term. They're very smart. Both those guys are very smart. They know what they want to do. We'll see what happens. I think the potential that they have is tremendous. They're a great addition to that roster as far as the tag team division goes. We'll just see, where we play out in a couple months.
One last quick thing, because I know you guys mostly have other things you got to take care of. The last thing is, how many of these guys who are going into TNA right now or Impact do you think are actually going in for long-term deals? Do you think most of them are just either per-show appearances or short-term to see as long as the pandemic goes so they have money coming in? Or do you think a lot of these guys are like Gallows and Anderson, are going to be doing long-term deals to have stability? Because I think most of these guys, like maybe Adina Purrazzo, are trying to get their name back out there and will go to AEW or New Japan once they are either reestablished or back in the mainstream of getting their name out there. And once again, thanks for the time. And this is Corey from the Workshoot podcast. And let's finally get this thing going of getting you guys on,
Oh, let's do it. Well. Yeah, Rich and I will definitely do it. We'll definitely come on. Excellent. Corey, thank you for the call, man. Corey from the Workshoot Wrestling podcast. Great caller. I think those questions are great. Rich, do you think these guys, like Gallows and Anderson, great example, right? Gallows and Anderson, short-term deal, open-ended contract. They can work other places, so they are going to work in Japan, as far as I know. They are going to do Japan when they can. AEW seems to be the place for them to go. I understand why they're not there right now. Listen, the other thing is a lot of people are surprised that they picked Impact. Listen, you also have to look at the books, right? You got to look at what the plan is in AEW. Right. Now you sign Gallows and Anderson, right? Which, by the way, surprise, right? They didn't. FTR we knew was leaving. We knew this. They weren't re-signing. So AEW was prepared to say, okay, we're going to negotiate on this. Unfortunately, there's no gate, so we got to now improvise. But they were in the plans for a while. This is a 4-year feud with the Bucks. If you think these guys have not spoken about what they would do together and how they would do it, you're out of your mind. FTR going to AEW was a long-term plan. Gallows and Anderson came out of nowhere, considering those guys signed a new long-term contract. I think they're each getting about WrestleMania. What was it, $750,000 or $500,000 each a year?
Let's be a little. Yeah, I'd say between $500,000 and $750,000. But who knows?
Between 5 and 7. Do you know how, guys? That is a lot of money. A lot of money. By the way, well deserved. Not working on them. That 750 number, well deserved number. But these are guys that they have buried. They never pulled the trigger on them for whatever reason. I think it really had to do with the fact that the writers were not familiar with who they were to that extent. I think they knew the Bullet Club. Also, I think they knew some. I don't think they were well-versed in how talented these two guys were.
I think it was also a Vince thing where they were just like, well, we don't give a shit that you did this Bullet Club thing. You guys could still do 2 Sweets because we kind of invented the 2 Sweets. But other than that, no thank you. Yeah. The AJ thing worked out for them big time, and the Finn Balor thing worked out for them big time because they were able to mold them both into like quote unquote WWE superstars. But when you have Gallows and Anderson on TV, you want Bullet Club stuff, right? You don't want aces and eights. You don't want a new gimmick. You want to see them for the reason that they were hired, because they were a popular act and you wanted to bring that back, right? Yeah. I think them going to Impact or AEW or back to Japan is a smart move, and they're smart dudes. I think you'll see them pop up a little bit everywhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think these guys are going to do great, but AEW is going to be their end thing. And when they show up, think about it. Marty possibly coming in, doing something with them. That there's going to be something happening. It's just give it time. I think a lot of this is going to play out little by little, and it'll get there. And also, you got to also remember the biggest thing is pulling the trigger on Kenny, which they have held.
Right.
It seems like when they finally do that Hangman and Kenny match, that's going to be the beginning of the singles run for both of them again.
Absolutely.
I would love to see that happen. It'll just give it time. By the way, some news. I think a lot of people don't know this. Conan's mother passed away to COVID. So did Linda McMahon's mother. And Lana's mother is in the ICU right now. And her dad tested positive as well. Yeah, so not good. Not good. My thoughts to, obviously, McMahon's and Conan.
Keep it real out there, but
so also, this is new. This is developing. So it looks like they were going to delay it till August, right? A live crowd for WWE. They were headed to August. It was supposed to be end of July. They were adamant on this. A couple of weeks ago, we reported that they had made the decision to delay it to the end of August, around the time of SummerSlam, with SummerSlam off the table. WrestleVotes is now reporting this. I haven't confirmed this, but WrestleVotes is reporting, which they have a great track record, that WWE is now aiming at the end of September for a restart for a live audience, date to be determined.
All right.
Yeah, so they're looking at September as the date, end of September for a return. I don't know. I haven't asked about that. I was told end of August. They were going to delay it by a month. But we'll see. Listen, who knows what's happening right now? We don't know. The numbers could do great. The numbers could do terrible. This is all out of the hands of it's in the universe's hands at this point. Let's see. Any other questions?
I think we're good. Should we do? Aaron has a question. Have you guys ever did a live watch along for Ready to Rumble? Maybe we can do it for a Patreon? Question mark.
God, I would for sure do it on Patreon.
Yeah, definitely.
Terrible movie.
Bob, I think this is going to be our last question. If WWE announced a live event with real fans at MSG in September, would you go? Absolutely not.
What is it? September? I would go. 100%.
I would. I have no desire to be in any enclosed space with other human beings other than my wife.
The number special rumored. Okay, so by the way, here's a confirmation I got. I'm being told that network special the week after SummerSlam that I was talking about on the 30th, it was going to be SummerSlam as a 2-nighter, or it was going to be an Evolution pay-per-view. They were both being discussed.
Okay.
So maybe they'll still do it from the Performance Center. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm told. Listen, I really, you know what I want? Forget about wrestling, right? You know what I really want? I want to fucking go to a baseball game. That's really what I want to do.
Ooh.
That's the thing that's really bothered me, because I love, like, I don't know if people know this. So I love day games during the week.
Oh yeah.
And Bob in our chat room, Bob and I go to a bunch of day games throughout the summer. That's what I do. And I take my kids. Like, that's a big tradition that we have. Like, my son's first birthday, we go to a baseball game. Every time they have his name on the scoreboard, Bob hooks it up. He writes, happy birthday, Hunter Zarian, and everything. And then I take my daughter the following week. I love day games. I absolutely love them. And it's heartbreaking. That's been the most heartbreaking thing for me to deal with at this moment, where I can't go to a baseball game. So if I had to pick a wrestling match at the Garden, wrestling show at the Garden, or a baseball game, I think I'm going to go with the baseball game. What are you going with?
I would go with the baseball game too, but my wife and I also have like a plan for July 24th when they do the first game of the Mets season, which is we're going to hang out on our balcony, set up like a little screen, and cook baseball stadium stuff, like eat and drink and yell at whatever we're doing, as we're in the game.
Nice. Love it. So Bob also says his kids are the designated driver for these games. Have you guys, Aaron Banks, have you guys been to a hockey game? I go to a whole bunch of Rangers games throughout the year. Love hockey.
Hockey games are fun.
Yeah. Baseball would be better since wrestling is. Yeah, man, we don't know. We'll see what happens. We're every week, every day, things are changing in this world. So it's hard to assume what's going on, but we do our best to kind of give you guys the information. Anything else, Rich, before we wrap it up?
I think we're good.
It's someone's birthday next week.
It is. Who could that be?
It's Sweet Baby Rich's birthday next week, next Tuesday, guys.
Next Tuesday, yeah. Send me some birthday kisses, fellas.
Yeah, give him some birthday kisses.
The only pro sports games I've never attended, I've never been to a football game.
You've never been to a football game?
Football game. That's not a desire I really have, though. I'm not much of a football guy.
But it's also a tremendous inconvenience for us to go to a football game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're very spoiled too, because if I want to go see the Knicks, we just hop on a 20-minute we hop on a train that literally takes us underneath Madison Square Garden, and you walk up a flight of stairs, and you're in your seat.
Dude, I don't think people fathom how simple it is for us. So, like Rich said, we go to if we go into like the Garden, right, Madison Square Garden. How long does it take you? It takes you a little bit shorter than me, but it's like a 20-minute train ride.
20-minute train ride, you're literally left underneath Madison Square Garden. You walk up 2 flights of stairs, and boom, you're there.
We want to go to Citi Field, Rich?
Same thing. Like, you can hop the train from right by your house that takes you right to Citi Field, and you just have to walk along that scuzzy boardwalk for 2 minutes. Or you can take like a $6 Uber or the bus. I don't see myself taking the bus anytime soon.
Yeah.
I love taking the bus. I don't mind public transportation. But I would take the bus from the corner of where my apartment is and take it to like a half a mile away from Citi Field and just walk. And, you know, it's like the best thing, because like I love going to baseball games too. And we can't, but hey, listen, at least we get to enjoy it on TV.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's it. Jonathan says, I need an hour of Andrew talking to his wife about wrestling. I should do that.
You should do that. I think that would be hysterical.
Yeah. We should do the wives on one episode.
Oh,
we should bring them on. Have them watch a match.
We should do that in studio and have them on the couch and try to jump in or whatever. Just get thoughts on. I think that'd be hysterical. I've been an episode of Wife Men. Wife Men.
That's what Adam said. Bob says the boardwalk is great 1939 technology about Citi Field. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Thank you again, everybody, tuning in live. We did the show an hour early. I know it was an inconvenience, but you guys showed up. Rich has a lot of work. I got a ton of stuff going on, too, so we just wanted to do a nice long show for you guys. We did an hour 40. Jeez, we did a long show, my friend. Hour 31 we did. All right, guys, that's it for this week. See you later.
Later.
Yeah, that was great. Hour 31. It was a fun show.
Fun. That was fun.
Yeah, I got to figure out.
That was a lot of fun. Next,
I think the delay's on my end because it's bizarre. It jumps your audio for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me see the latency. So if I look at the latency
next week,
says, that's high ass latency. It says 700 milliseconds.
Next week, let's do in studio.
You want to do Tuesday or you want to do Thursday?
I'd rather do Tuesday's my birthday, and I'm probably gonna. I think I'm just gonna. I don't know what I'm gonna do. There's nothing, you know.
Yeah. Well, if you come by Thursday, we could grill.
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Yeah, let's see what's going on next week.
Yeah. Are you guys not going to do the Soprano show anymore? No, but we're going to do it. We're going to do the Soprano show.
Yeah.
It's just with the in-studio, out-studio thing, it's been the hardest thing for us to do. But we are going to do Matt Pranos for sure. We're just working on it. Wait. And then, when do we do Tubmen?
In a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have to do Wife Men at some point also.
And then Wife Men. So we should do like a series of 3 back-to-back. We should do Tubmen, Matt Pranos, and Wife Men. Oh, back-to-back.
Absolutely. That'd be so good.
Yeah. All right, Rich. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. All right, guys.
Love you guys.
Love you. Goodbye. Let's see. All right. Let me close this out. Bye, guys. I'll see you later, all right? I'm not going to do What the Tech today. My back is hurting me, and I think I'm just going to go get lunch. I'm not feeling it. I don't know if people know this. I'm on a steroid pack right now. My back went to total shit. I got 4 ruptured discs in it. And the doctor gave me a steroid pack, and I'm fucking feeling weird. Really weird. I don't know if the delay was me, my brain, or everything else. So, let's see. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.